This week, the Washington Commanders take on the Chicago Bears at home here in Week 8 in what could be a matchup between number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams and potentially maybe number 2 overall pick Jaden Daniels. That is, if he's on the field. Welcome into the Commanders Report preview. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today we're going to be breaking down what you guys can expect from the Chicago Bears schematically. We'll break down team trends. We'll talk about keys to victory for the Washington Commanders this week, a full scouting report on Caleb Williams, and of course, make sure you stick around to the end of today's show for my official Week 8 score prediction between these two squads. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button as well. We got in-depth previews for the Washington Commanders every single week right here on the channel for free. And right now we are doing a subscriber battle with our frenemies here at our Bears channel here at Chat Sports. It's called Bears Now. And right now we're about 20 subscribers behind them and new subscribers this week. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now if you haven't already to help us win that battle. If that's not enough to get you guys to click that subscribe button right now, here's what Harrison Graham, the host of Bears Now, had to say on Twitter the other day. A little controversial, if you ask me. It's unclear if Jaden Daniels will play against the Bears this week as he's dealing with a rib injury. But if he does play, when given the opportunity, the Bears need to hit him hard and make him feel contact. Kind of sounds like Bountygate to me, Harrison, but that's just me, man. Now, Harrison, I brought this up to him, and he had a little bit of a message he wanted to send to the Commanders Report faithful. Here it is.
All right, Commanders fans, we've all been waiting for this matchup, and you guys have been in my DMs a little bit too much this week. Y'all act like I put out Bountygate 2.0 on Jaden Daniels if he plays. It's not what I'm saying, but hey, if he runs around recklessly and he plays, yeah, put him on the ground. That's what I'm saying from a Bears standpoint. Caleb Williams first pick, Jaden second. We know who's going to finish on top. Bear down, baby.
So as you guys can see, he's feeling pretty cocky heading into the week here. So if you want to shut his mouth right now, go ahead, click that subscribe button. Right now, if we could put up 50, 60 new subscribers on this video, I think that we could really bury Bears Now and win this subscriber battle. So do that right now if you haven't already. Tell you what, guys, try out our videos for a week here. Try out our in-depth previews, our trade rumors, all the stuff that we put up on the channel. And then also we have our watch party on Sunday. Try us out for a week. And I promise you guys, you're not going to want to click that unsubscribe button once you join our family. Okay, so let's talk about this matchup here. And now I noticed that in a video yesterday, I actually said that this game was going to be played in Chicago. F. Sperry in the chat. I can't believe I made that kind of stupid mistake, but this game is going to be played at Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland. It is going to be a home game for the Washington Commanders, and it's a matchup between two really hot, really young football teams here. And the Washington Commanders sitting at 5-2, and then the Chicago Bears coming off a bye and 3 straight wins before the bye last week. So when it comes to the schematics and what you guys can expect from Chicago this week, their head coach Matt Eberflus is their defensive play caller. He's got a 14-26 record as the head coach of the Chicago Bears, and he runs a 4-2 balance system. So 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs on the field pretty much at all times, except for certain situations. And, you know, they like to go to cover 2. They like to do a lot of kind of creeper blitzes and lots of kind of creative things to try to get free rushers on the quarterback while only rushing 4. Lots of simulated pressures is kind of what Eberflus is known for. And then offensively, they run kind of a Sean McVay-style West Coast offense with Shane Waldron. Is their first-year offensive coordinator this year, and watching the film on the Bears over the last several weeks, he's been kind of in his bag as a play caller here after kind of a bumpy start to start the 2024 campaign. And you look at the results for this team so far, and something that you'll notice is that the teams that they've beaten are some of the worst teams in the National Football League from a win-loss perspective. The Titans, the Rams, the Panthers, and Jaguars are all teams that have struggled to win football games this year. Those are the teams that the Bears have won against this year. They've lost against the Texans, and then they also lost to the Colts, a bad football team on the road. So they've definitely played some cupcakes to start the year, and I think this Commanders team, this 5-2 Commanders team, is going to be a challenge that they kind of haven't seen throughout this entire season, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But let's talk about the Bears offense here, where they have a ton of high-level talent at this on offense, on this side of the ball. You got Caleb Williams. We'll get into his scouting report by the end of today's show. He is a very dynamic talent that you have to account for. But then the talent around him is also excellent. DeAndre Swift has been getting hot lately, and then their trio of wide receivers is legitimately one of the best in football. DJ Moore just got a brand new contract. He's a legit number one guy. And then you got Keenan Allen and Roma Dunze as your secondary guys who are big, who are great route runners. They have reliable hands. I mean, when it comes to wide receiver trios in this league, it doesn't get much better than DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Roma Dunze. But I think the big question here for Chicago is how well the offensive line is going to hold up. When this team has struggled offensively, it's because this offensive line hasn't been able to protect Caleb Williams. Now, over the last 3 games when they've been winning, this offensive line has actually gotten a lot better since the beginning stages of the year when they couldn't run the football, when the pass game was being relied upon to completely carry this offense, and Caleb just wasn't really ready to do that in the first 3 games of his NFL career. But everybody on this line here has really stepped up in a big way in the prior weeks here heading into this football game, and then they're also going to be fresh because they are coming off a bye. You take a look at the team trends here and the rankings from the Bears offense versus the Commanders defense. Now, lots of similarities here, but I do think that the two things that really stand out in terms of an advantage for the Bears offense is that the red zone percentage is a lot higher for the Chicago Bears. They're ranking 3rd in the National Football League right now, and then the Commanders' defense is giving up a lot of touchdowns when opposing teams get into the red zone. So I think that's a little bit of a mismatch. I think if the Bears get into the red zone a lot in this game, they probably end up winning. And then also the turnovers here, where the Bears are top 10 at protecting the football, and then the Commanders are close to bottom 3rd in terms of taking the ball away. Okay, so I think that those are kind of the 2 areas where I think the Bears have the advantage in terms of the trends here. But you look at the points per game so far this season, 24.7 for Chicago versus 21.7 allowed from Washington, and those trends would predict about 23 points for Chicago this week in Landover, so keep that in mind. Now let's move over to the defensive side of the ball for Chicago, where I think their key defensive pieces, they got a lot of very good pieces, but these are the pieces that have really been the high-impact players for them on defense this year. Jalen Johnson might be the most underrated defensive player in football right now. He is a bona fide top 5 shutdown corner in this league right now. He is a phenomenal player. Commanders fans are well aware of Montez Sweat and his abilities to rush the passer from the edge. And then Kevin Byard was a huge pickup for them this offseason. He has been one of the best grading free safeties in the National Football League to kick off this year, and he's a playmaker in the middle of their defense. You take a look here at the trend comparisons here between the Commanders offense and the Bears defense, and this is a lot more similar, right? You got the Commanders currently sitting at 2nd in points per game this season, but the Bears are really, really good in this department. 4th in scoring defense right now, and they're top 10 in all these categories. So I think you can really safely say right now that the Chicago Bears are a top 5 defense in the National Football League today, and it's going to be a challenge whether it's Jaden Daniels or Marcus Mariota under center for Washington. Now, if you believe the trends here, the points per game trends, Commanders right now pretty much at the top of the league at 31.1 points per game. That's still an astronomical number for Washington, but the Bears defense is only giving up 16.8. So if you believe these trends right here, that would predict a 24-23 win for the Washington Commanders at home this weekend against Chicago. So take that with a grain of salt, though, because you're looking at the trends here. But most of the offensive production from Washington has come with Jaden Daniels at quarterback. And at the time that I'm recording this video, it's looking in doubt that Jaden is going to be able to play on Sunday. And instead, it's looking like it's going to be Marcus Mariota, the backup quarterback, who did have a very good game last week against the Carolina Panthers, over 73% completions, 203 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, so he protected the football. He made some nice throws in tight windows. He was throwing on the run, had a successful 2-minute drill. Mariota was very impressive in spurts, and after kind of a slow start, he was great pretty much for the entirety of the rest of that football game. But let's face it, man, facing the worst defense in football in the Carolina Panthers at home, now you're going up against, yes, you're still at home, but you're going up against the Chicago Bears, a top 5 scoring defense here and top 5 overall defense. It's definitely going to be a whole different beast for Marcus Mariota to handle this weekend if he plays. Now, still to come here on the Commanders Report preview, keys to victory versus the Chicago Bears. I got 4 of them for the Washington Commanders to execute to get the dub on Sunday. We get into our full Caleb Williams scouting report, and then we finish up today's show with my Week 8 score prediction, where I predict whether the Commanders pull off the win here at home right here in Week 8. But before we get into it, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Fanatics. You guys can go to chatsports.com/DQ to get this awesome and affordable Washington Commanders ball cap in your closet today. If you want to be rocking the Dan Quinn backwards hat look on Commanders game days this year and you want to help out the channel, this is an awesome opportunity to do so, guys, because when you use our link, chatsports.com/DQ, I'll put that link in the comments and description of today's show, and you make a purchase, Fanatics is going to send us part of the proceeds. So it helps the channel, it helps you because you get an awesome hat that you can wear on Commanders game days. Everybody's happy, all right? So go ahead right now, go to chatsports.com/DQ to get this hat in your closet today. So my keys to victory here. We'll start with winning the line of scrimmage on defense. Now, obviously, in every game, you want to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. But in this particular matchup, I think winning the line of scrimmage on defense is going to be key to stop Caleb Williams in the passing attack and DeAndre Swift in the running game. So we take a look at Caleb Williams and my kind of scouting report on him here so far in his rookie campaign. We talked about Caleb a lot during the draft process this year, talking about the possibility of maybe trading up for him from the number 2 spot. And I still feel very similarly about Caleb Williams. I think he's a future superstar quarterback. I think he's going to win MVPs in this league. He's going to be a top 5 QB in this league for a long time, just like Jaden Daniels is going to be, by the way. And the pocket presence is legit. It's some of the best I've ever seen from a person this young playing the quarterback position. It's just such a natural feel for pressure and how to avoid it, how to step up and move in the pocket. Also, the arm talent is absolutely legit. You're not going to find really anybody on the planet with as much arm talent as Caleb Williams. He can make any throw from any platform, from any arm angle. So, this guy can absolutely slice and dice you from any body position. Also, the playmaking instincts are second to none. And then he is also a plus rusher. So if there's nothing there, he can take off and beat you with his legs as well. However, to start the season so far, he's had some inconsistent accuracy issues. The mental processing and decision-making can still be touched up a bit. Leaves clean pockets at times, doesn't see open receivers at times. Playing within structure is still something that he needs to work on in his game. But over the last 3 games where they have been a winning football team, he has looked a lot better, and he's been getting better every single week as the quarterback of the Chicago Bears. But with that being said, I think that the way that you beat him is something that's very attainable for the Commanders, and that's to put pressure on him. Now, I think Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. need to get creative with some stunts in games, blitzing with Frankie Louvu, and the rest of the people here, maybe get Mike Samershill involved with a couple blitz packages as well. You just got to put pressure, and you got to confuse this young man, because on pure talent alone, this guy is already one of the most talented quarterbacks in the world. And so far this season, when teams have been able to put pressure on Caleb Williams, he hasn't been able to play all that well. So this will be a huge key to victory for Washington this week. If they put pressure on Williams, they're going to give themselves a shot to win. If they don't, I think Williams is going to be able to get it to all of the plethora of weapons he has at his disposal and slice and dice the Commanders' defense. Also, winning the line of scrimmage for the Washington Commanders is super important because it's going to limit the run game. DeAndre Swift, during this winning streak for Chicago, has been one of the best running backs in the National Football League after pretty much getting nothing in the first 3 weeks of the campaign. Okay, so DeAndre Swift is somebody that's definitely hot, and you got to stop him, okay? Because if he gets going, that's going to make Caleb more comfortable. It's going to open up the play-action game for Chicago. But if you can stymie DeAndre Swift and you can force Caleb Williams to kind of put this offense on his back, the Commanders are going to have an opportunity to win this football game. Then we shift over to the offensive side of the ball here, and the big key to victory for Washington on this side is to protect the football. And the reason why I say this is because Chicago does a really good job of taking advantage of turnovers. Right now, they're turning the ball over at a really high rate, and then the offense is doing a really good job at converting those turnovers into points when they have favorable starting spots in terms of their field positioning. So if they start at the 40 or at the opposing 30, they usually do a really good job of converting that opportunity into a touchdown. The Commanders can't do that. Marcus Mariota needs to protect the football. You can't have fumbles, all these different things. If Jaden is in, he has to protect the ball as well. And you got to force Chicago to go the length of the field and put together long drives to get these touchdowns. All right, if you don't do that, Chicago's going to have opportunities to score off of turnovers, and that's how they want to win. So you have to close that gap for them. Now, another thing that the Commanders need to do on offense is spread the ball around, because I think Jalen Johnson is one of the best lockdown corners in the league, and he's going to be shadowing Terry McLaurin, who the Washington Commanders' #1 receiver. So I think that the Commanders have done a really good job at spreading the ball around all season long. Cliff Kingsbury has done a good job keeping everybody involved in the offensive game plan, but that needs to continue to be the case this week. I think Noah Brown, Luke McCaffrey, De'Ami Brown, Olamide Zaccheaus, all these guys are more than capable of getting involved in the game plan and doing their part to help the offense move the football and score touchdowns. Now, does that mean that Terry McLaurin can't be a part of the game plan? He's never going to get the ball? No, he's going to have his opportunities. He is the #1 receiver. But with Jalen Johnson on there for the entire game, you are going to need some other people to help out. And, I do expect guys like Zach Ertz, Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler to also be a part of the passing attack. And then also you got to get the run game going to have a balanced attack. Obviously, this Commanders offense has done a really good job of this all throughout the season. So right now, I'm not too worried about that. Now, the final key to victory here, and if you do these three things and the game is close towards the end of the game, and I do think this game will end up probably being close in the fourth quarter, you got to make the play late. All right, you got to make that play. Whether it's a big touchdown pass, whether that's a successful 4-minute drill, whether that's a sack fumble, whether that's a play on special teams, there's always a play to be made in the fourth quarter, and usually the team that makes that big play in the fourth ends up winning the game. So I think for the Commanders to win, they got to make that play late because I do think it will be close, but I will go with the Chicago Bears to win a close one here. Just because, it's going to be, there's just so many question marks with Washington this week. Now, if Jaden Daniels plays, I think this changes the math a little bit and changes the equation, and I might change my prediction here come Sunday. But right now, it's not looking like Jaden's going to play. It's going to be Marcus Mariota. And, I was so happy to see him play well against the Carolina Panthers, but the Carolina Panthers aren't the Chicago Bears defense, man. This is a legit defense that plays together. They play with great chemistry. They fly around. And Marcus Mariota really needs to be on his game this week if the Commanders are going to win. I don't necessarily think he's going to be terrible. I think he's going to get this team within striking distance. And who knows, maybe Marcus Mariota can surprise us all and deliver a win on Sunday afternoon. But for me, man, I think Caleb Williams' talent kind of shines through over a guy like Marcus Mariota, who is a backup quarterback. So just because of the quarterback situation here, and I like Caleb Williams a bit more, I'm going to go with the Bears to win a close one here, 27-23. But now it's your turn. Let me know down there in the comment section. Predict the score of Commanders versus Bears down there in the comment section. I got 27-23 Bears for now. I think I'll probably end up picking the Commanders if Jaden Daniels ends up playing this weekend. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. That'll be it for this week's preview, man. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys for making it to the end of today's show. If you made it to the end of today's program, you probably like our videos and all these different things. So if you're not clicking that subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for? Make sure you click that subscribe button right now because we got great content like this every day. So if you want notifications, all that great stuff, and you never want to miss a video, make sure you click that subscribe button right now.